a self-storage owner or operator looking for service providers to help at your facility? Well, the Storage Business Owners Alliance, also known as the SBOA, has you covered. The SBOA is a premier online hub for connecting self-storage owners and operators to industry-leading products and service providers. We provide one-stop shopping for your business with exclusive offers to save time and money. At the SBOA, we believe by coming together, we help owners and operators grow revenue, gain purchasing power, reduce expenses, improve efficiencies, and increase profitability. We also offer many resources such as our conferences and self-storage unlock webinars to help self-storage owners and operators gain the knowledge needed to become more competitive in the industry. To become an SBOA member or to find out more information, please visit www.thesboa.com today. We can't wait for you to join the Alliance.
Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Also, happy Cinco de Mayo for those of you that are going to celebrate today. Thanks for joining us for another Self-Storage Unlocked. Today, we are talking about how to dominate your local market against your competitors. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Jessica Johnson. I'm the Vice President of the Storage Business Owners Alliance, like I said, better known as the SBOA by most of you out there. Thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few quick housekeeping items. Housewarming. I need a break, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't even know what day it is most days, but housekeeping items. On the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see an area called polls. We would love for you to go in and answer those polls for us. It helps us to get to know you and your business better so we can help you. There's also a section called chat. Chat is the area where most of you are already putting your names and where you're located there. But if you have questions for us today, please enter your questions in the chat area so we can answer those for you. And if there's any questions that we cannot get to live, we will be sure to send you an email follow-up with the answers to those questions. And then on the left-hand side of the screen, you will see the Expo area. Today, this is sponsored and brought to you by OpenTech Alliance, one of our valued partners. So please go visit that section and get to know OpenTech Alliance a little bit better, the products and services that they offer to you in the self-storage industry. And a huge shout out to OpenTech, Amy's Attic Storage, and Universal Storage Group for being here with us today. Without our industry partners and peers, we cannot execute these types of events to bring education and knowledge to you to help you be better in your business. So let's get this kicked off. I am going to bring up my speakers for today. First, I have Mr. Bob Vamvas. Am I saying that correct, Bob? I should have asked you.
That's great.
Bob, give me a rundown of how long you've been in the storage industry and what you've been doing.
Okay, well, I've been in the industry since 2004, so I guess that makes that almost more 3 or 4 years. Anyway, more than 4 years.
For sure.
I'm currently the director of operations for Amy's Attic Self Storage here in Texas, and I serve as an interim director of operations for other businesses outside of the storage industry. Pretty busy. I got some great partners, extremely smart people. There is an Amy, by the way, and so my responsibility is to make sure that her investments back into us collects, that we're value add back to them. I am a veteran and the United States Air Force. Very happy to say that. I come from a family where dad was a Marine, my grandfather's Army. My son's a Houston Police Department officer. So it's we're very involved in law enforcement and protection. Maybe that's the best way to put it.
That's awesome. Well, I know who I'm calling if I'm in trouble in Texas.
There you go.
Thanks for being with us today, Bob. I'll bring you back up in just a few minutes. And then I have my next guest, Miss Kristi Adams, the Vice President of Marketing for OpenTech. Hey, Kristi.
Hey, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Kristi, give us a rundown of you've got quite a wide variety of self-storage experience, so let's hear it.
Yes. So I've been in the industry about 18 years with really the sole focus of self-storage marketing, starting one of the online directories. If some of you have heard of it, usstoragesearch.com, and then went on to be the director of marketing for UStore at now CubeSmart. And then spent some time over in Europe doing self-storage in London and in Oxford. And so happy to be really helping everyone online here today on how to dominate. I've come with a bunch of experience. So excited to share, meet many of you.
Awesome. And then Kristi, later on, when we bring your slides up, I want you to talk about the offer that OpenTech has for everyone that's on today's webinar.
You betcha.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kristi, for being here. All right. And my third and final guest is Miss Stacie Maxwell. Stacie, you are the VP of Marketing and Training at Universal Storage Group. Stace, give us a rundown of who you are and how long you've been doing this.
Sure. Yeah, that's me. I've been in the industry since 2001, so 21 years now. I've done everything from running the storage facility behind the desk to running the company now that manages over 70 facilities. I'm head of marketing and training for Universal. So as we manage self-storage properties, they all have individual names and brands. So there's a whole lot of brand management that comes involved with that. And then all of our training programs as well, training managers and operators, just like our entire audience out there, how to effectively run their self-storage facilities. So that's what I'm very excited. Thank you for having me here today so we can share some of this and help other operators out there. So.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much for being here. All right, I'm going to bring the crew back up and we are going to get this kicked off. So to kind of compartmentalize this a little bit, we're going to talk about three main groups today: grassroots marketing, website marketing, and social media marketing. So, the first step in any marketing process is to come up with a plan and a budget. Can all of you take a minute to just share some of the critical elements that you would consider when you're building your budget and your marketing plan? Stacie, I'll go with you first because you're immediately to my right on screen.
Okay, I think when you're developing your plan, and we had a conversation about this yesterday in the pre-planning as well, and Bob nailed it when he said that everything has to touch one another. All the different facets of your marketing program need to mesh together, from your offline to your online and everything in between. So making sure that you have a cohesive message among all your platforms for whatever you're speaking to, whatever your target audience is for this month or this quarter as you plan. Also speaking in terms of budgeting, of course, we're going to spend money on things like internet marketing and, other programs like that the managers don't have a lot of direct control over, but managers in the store do have direct control over the expenditures for marketing visits, the grassroots marketing that I'll be talking about in a little bit too. So you have to be very careful planning for your promotional items and things that you're going to print, all your collateral. All those little pieces, a lot of operators overlook that little bit, and then they get hit with a bill for postcards or whatever it is, and it wasn't in the plan, so it didn't get budgeted. So you have to be very careful with those little details with the grassroots.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Bob, anything to add to that?
The one thing that I would say, and I appreciate with Stacie's comments, is in terms of establishing a budget, we don't really have a very large social media budget. We just know how to tickle eyes, tickle ears, but the returns have been phenomenal. So before you even establish the budget, you have to establish the plan. And most operators, as I explore this whole concept of social media, they have no plan. And if you look at a lot of the social media posts that I've seen over the years, from Instagram to Facebook, they've been horrible at best, horrible. And not everybody. But there's been very little thought has been given into social media, and so your return on your social media investments would be greater if you think about it on the front end. That's the key.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that, and the whole process can become a little daunting, right? So again, compartmentalizing this into like the different buckets, I think will help everyone today. And social media is a huge player in this now, so we definitely don't want to ignore that. Kristi, anything that you want to add from your perspective?
Yeah, I think what I would just chime in, because Stacie and Bob did a wonderful job, was, think about the individual factors in your markets. If you're just one facility, right, you're building the budget for one, but I can tell you from running a 630 portfolio, every store looked a little different, and every marketing budget differed as well. So don't necessarily look at it as a one-size-fits-all strategy. I think you're going to find as you dig in and you look at that local marketplace, you do need to up maybe as a social media budget. If it's a not main visibility, you may be spending more for online marketing to drive customers to that property. So I would just say be careful to do a one-size-fits-all. I think we found the most success in really targeted marketing budgets based off of that property's location.
Yeah, and Kristi, I know OpenTech has some dollars behind marketing right now, because every day I'm on Facebook and I'm scrolling, I get an OpenTech ad just about every single day. So we can definitely talk about that later today. So Stacie, I'm going to start with you, and we're going to go to Grassroots marketing, because I know your team and you do a fantastic job of this at USG. We did a webinar, probably it's been almost a year ago now, where you talked about like your 3D marketing idea, which I love that, because you hand them a brochure and a piece of paper and a business card. Where's that going to go, right? In the trash can. So give me some ideas about local community involvement, partnering with local businesses, and then those 3D marketing giveaways, which I just absolutely adore. And we've indoctrinated that in ourselves in our process, because we used to do the brochures and business cards. And I'm like, Stacie's got a really good point. Those are landing in the trash.
Yeah, paper gets thrown away. We say that. Would you mind sharing my slide that I had for you there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think when you start talking about grassroots marketing, you have to realize what it is. So grassroots marketing really is a combination of you're taking your products and services, whatever you offer at your store, and you're pushing that information out there and awareness of it into the community around you with creative opportunities. You're going to reach out to local businesses. You're going to reach out to schools and local clubs and teams, and really get involved in your community to build that brand awareness. Because the whole point, your number one mission in marketing, in grassroots marketing at all, is to make sure every single person in your market area knows your brand. Because the truth of self-storage is you don't buy it on sale. You don't buy it on Black Friday because it's a good deal. You know, that's not the way it works.
Right.
You have got to be there and top of mind when they need storage, because you're not going to rent an empty room because it's on sale. Either you need it or you don't. So getting your brand out there and making sure that the people know that you're trustworthy and, you know, a good place to store is important. We do this by fostering great impressions out there in the community. I have Mr. Rogers there. I love citing Mr. Rogers as he's one of the greatest humans to ever walk the planet. What was great about Mr. Rogers is he made every single person who came in contact with him feel comfortable in his presence. He accepted you just like you are. And so I teach my managers to do the same thing with everyone they meet, because the truth is you have to have a sense of comfort and trust to store somewhere. If you feel funky about the person that you're speaking with, you're not going to feel comfortable bringing your entire, you know, world of belongings, your home, whatever it is you're storing, and putting it in what they perceive as that person's care. Even though we have the 3 C's, care, custody, and control, which dictates self-storage, it's in their personal care, custody, and control. The perception of the customer is you have oversight of their belongings. So they have to trust you and they have to feel very comfortable with you. So that positive community involvement, it's very easy to accomplish. I've got the easy as 1, 2, 3 there. You're going to make visits out in the local marketplace, businesses and hospitals and professional offices. There are opportunities for storage customers and customer referrals in every single business. They might not need storage, but they might know somebody who does, or eventually will know somebody who does. In our statistics, in our demographics, you know, every time somebody moves in, we ask them if they've ever used storage before. 78% of our customers have used storage before. So that number of people who've never used storage is getting smaller and smaller. So what that tells us is everybody is going to need storage eventually at some point in their life, and they're going to need it multiple times. So being out there, having your brand out there, I like to say that being neighborly can help you bypass online search, which makes all the online marketers freak out a little bit. But the truth of that is, I mean, you're really not ever going to bypass online search, but having your brand out there leads to a lot more direct searches, directly visiting your website and going straight to you when they need storage because they trust you. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is that it on your slides? Oh,
well,
no, keep going.
Yeah, well, my next slide is zone marketing. I don't know if you want me to get into that yet, or
No,
if it's in the agenda.
let's bring it back when we get later on into the
Okay.
conversation. But Bob, I wanted to kind of pass over to you for a quick moment because I know you're pretty heavily involved in your local community. I see Amy's Attic Self-Storage doing all kinds of fun and cool stuff. So give the audience some pointers from your perspective as far as, what you guys have done and are doing and plan to do.
Well, I love the fact that Stacie brought up building trust, and that's critical.
Mm-hmm.
And during that initial contact, that transaction, building the relationship on the phone. Now, the secret is getting them to call or getting them to walk in or getting them to take action online.
Mm-hmm.
And how we do that is we do some pretty simple things. And I'll talk more about this later. But one is brand of the week. About every week, we send out a notice to several 100,000 people, not several 100,000, but several thousand people that, we're promoting this local business. Okay.
Cool.
And second is we have our there's Stacie. Stacie, don't be taking my ideas now, girl.
No, I've got one similar I want to tell you about too.
Take every one of them. Athletes, we have a separate Facebook post. We'll promote, especially during football season. This is Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Texas football, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we every week you get scores up on our marquees. You get scores on Facebook.
That's awesome.
You get the promotion of the stores themselves. You'll get everything is color coded so that the schools know, purple is this school and blue, so on and so forth. We have a separate page for festivals. During our festivals, we have several thousand. We've had 120,000 people look at our one of our Facebook festivals, at least online. They didn't show up, thank God. We had 4,000 people show up at that festival. Anyway, so we try to nail it down. And one thing that we don't do is we don't do a lot of military posts, which is pretty wild because a lot of our locations are nearby Fort Hood. And you say, well, why don't you do more military? Because everybody's doing military. And as I told people who has stores near Texas A&M, everybody's promoting Texas A&M. You've got to be different.
For sure. So you're creating a really good emotional connection with the consumer, which I think has a lot of validity to it. I know on the back end of the analytics of anything that we've ever posted, when we add in that human emotional element, it outperforms every other campaign that we ever do. So there's something to be said, and that's memorable to somebody that's driving by, right? Oh, they posted the local high school's football scores versus, the one across the street is not doing that. So that may capture their attention and draw them to you, which is awesome.
Hey, Jessica, bring up my slides for a minute. I want to
Sure.
just show something real fast. We'll go back. See those? That's my slide up to the right. Go page down.
Yep. Let's see.
And keep
That
going.
one?
Nope.
Keep going?
Nope.
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 Okay, keep going.
Okay.
One more.
One more. There you go.
No,
That
I'm
one?
sorry. Go one more. Sorry.
One more. There
Right.
it
So
is.
what you'll see every week is we'll go ahead and promote local businesses. Now, again, what you'll see here, Encore Landings, probably back in January or something to that effect. And I've got a tremendous staff. My area manager is just phenomenal at this, and she stays on top of this. But you'll see this brand on our marquees as well. You'll see it promoted on Facebook. But we're actually every week we're promoting a local business. Now, if you've got one store, if you've got 1 million square feet plus like us, or you got duplex homes like us, you want to be promoting a wide range of businesses. Now, there's one caveat. We just, if they just started their business, they don't have good reviews and so on and so forth, we don't use them. But this is one way that we use social media. You see our brands there and their brands there. So it's a happy relationship.
I love that,
Co-marketing.
Bob, I love that. I was going to mention we do something similar. I really like this weekly branding, and you're just doing the post and having the dual branding up there for both of you as well. At Universal, we do what's called Business of the Month. And so the stores who are doing it, it's not required at every store, but the managers who are doing it, they schedule it months and months in advance because it gets really popular. Basically, we contact local businesses that we've marketed with and got alliances built with to send referrals back and forth. And we ask them if they want to be our business of the month. What it requires is that business donates a minimum $25 retail value prize. It could be a gift card, it could be a product, it could be a gift certificate to their business, whatever it is. And then that prize comes to our office. And we promote, we send out in emails and on Facebook, a countertop stand, even a signage as well. This is our business of the month. Enter to win the drawing to win the prize that they've donated. So we're sending that out multiple times, pulling in lots of contacts as we collect those entries so that we can market to those people later. Then when the person at the end of the month, we draw for the prize, the person comes to our facility to pick up the prize. We do a photo op. It's dual branded the same way. But the point is to get somebody to the site. Even if it's just that one prize winner, they're coming to the site. Every time you get a human on site, it creates that door turn that you need, because when they walk into your site, they can see, the way your gate operates. They can see the nice clean office. They can see the boxes you have. They can see how the elevator works. All of the features and amenities that you have, you want to give them a quick tour before you take the photo op and then post it to Facebook and, re-promote that business of the month again. And then you go to the next month. But it's a similar program, a little more involved, but involving those local businesses this way is fantastic because you're sharing referrals back and forth.
Well, and Stacie, USG does a really good job too of baking homemade cookies in your offices, right? So, I mean, you're getting my business every time over the competitor just so I can come get some free cookies.
It's either cookies or popcorn, yes.
Hey, either way, I'm a snack food junkie, so I'm coming to USG location if it's close to me 10 times out of 10 times than my competitor. So
yeah, food is powerful. Yes.
Sadly, it is. Kristi, I want to shift over to you and websites and digital because we are really seeing a transition within the industry where our industry has traditionally been behind in technology. COVID hit us. Everyone had these plans in the works, right? But then all these companies panicked and said, holy moly, we got to go to market with this stuff way sooner than we anticipated, and we'll make the changes and implementations as we go. So talk us through, we're in this digital era, and if these owners and operators out there don't adopt and indoctrinate this into the business, I'm holding firm to my position here. You're going to be left behind big time. So Kristi, give us some views from the website perspective, because you guys are doing a lot with this over at OpenTech, and I think you've got some really good value you could share.
Yeah, I've been part of the yellow page to digital. I think my budget was 7 million yellow page. So I have seen the shifts. And so I think
for sure,
really what the pandemic drove was many owner operators, even the REITs, you could do a reservation on the website. And really, I think we all saw it. I saw the REITs quickly pull together the fact that they could do the full, complete online rental. That became a necessity. And I'll share with you, having really looked at that online user over these years, it kind of got a bad rap. Stacie, you might be able to chime in, and Bob as well. Like, the value of an online rental or reservation was never quite as good as our walk-ins and our drive-bys and the other kind of marketing source that we would tag them. But it was really encouraging on several of the REITs' last calls. And I'll say Public Storage at I believe it was third or fourth quarter call, reported 50% of their customers are coming via their website. And Extra Space, I think, was on the lower end of 25%. So that shift has really ramped up. And the coolest part was that they were saying the value of those customers, they're seeing no difference than the customers that are walking up, right? The other sources where they were getting, that would be your ideal customer. The lifetime value was higher with them. So that was kind of a reassuring piece. And so my really recommendation to everyone is, if you don't have that full online rental on your website, that's really a must-have. Like, that's where I would start, because our customers our consumers of self-storage we're seeing it at the REIT level. That's the way they prefer to interact and to do business. And I look at the flip side of the transactional time savings of a customer already having done the rental online, and how that provides value and efficiency from the manager behind the desk, right? How much time does that free up for them? So I think it's really a win-win.
Yeah, and I love hearing that the value is not shifting, right? Because I do talk to a lot of local owner operators, and they get very hesitant about the whole online rental process because they said, I'm losing that human element of maybe upselling them, or to buy retail supplies within their office, boxes, tape, moving supplies, et cetera. But it's great to hear that that shift is not really occurring. So there's no harm, no foul in having this. And honestly, I think that they need to have this. They've got to meet the consumer where they're at. And let's face it, everyone's online in some capacity, right? Maybe other than the exception of like my great grandparents or my grandparents probably aren't ones that are going to transact online or feel comfortable doing so. But still, it's definitely critical. Bob, I want to go over to you. I always love you talk about this, and I want you to share with the group the 7 Ps of marketing so they can digest that and understand the importance of what that means.
Okay, there are 7 Ps just taught in college. It's certainly not something I created. Although, I mean, if I can get cash for this, then I created it. But it's, we talk about product, promotion, price, place, product, promotion, price, place, people, process, physical evidence. Now I'm going to break that down just a little bit for folks. I don't want to go too deep into the woods here, but the product would be the diversity of what you're offering, but also includes your branding. And your branding, as I've mentioned before, and I'm talking to a group of people who are very knowledgeable in this area, it's got to be integrated. So when they see your name, when they see your image, whatever they see has got to be website, paper, shirts, whatever it is, we have to drive it in. So product promotion. Well, I mean, again, I'm talking to folks who know this as well as anybody, but your marketing communication, which is different from just marketing sales. Okay. Marketing communication might be, hey, we've sponsored somebody, and we do that in our festival. So that's marketing communication. We're going to talk about that not-for-profit. Your price, and really, we should talk about discounts and so on and so forth, but not in my world. So what we talk about is the value add. And what we've done is I'm hoping that my area manager hears me, because she's going to say, you've got that right now. I came up with a program called Amy's Assurance Alliance, which is really a nice way of saying you're going to get $1,000 worth of insurance. You're going to get 24/7 access. You're going to get free use of our truck and so on and so forth. Just a packaging concept. So the value add in the price is this package. Then we just tack on, the $7 to $95 to $10.95 a month. So our ancillary sales are through the roof, and my managers, my staff's just phenomenal at the best. Place, can't speak highly about this. A lot of people. My Kentucky partner, Burgess, and I have said no more times. We've said yes this past year. Let me explain. If you don't have a good location, don't build. Do not build. Don't go there. So part of your marketing strategy has got to be the place, but also on site. A great tool is if you're not sure where somebody wants to go, if they come onto your location, when I say where they want to go, you take them to the furthest unit with the lowest price in the worst area of your site, and then bring them back to your number one location. Let them make a choice. So there's a lot of options there. People, what we do is we have a nice compensation plan. We have a nice bonus plan. We're very happy to give out bonuses. When they get bonus, means the business is bringing in more money. So we're very happy with that. So that is part of our marketing strategy. If you market, you do this right, good things happen down the line. Mm-hmm. Under process, there are many aspects. Again, if somebody wants this, Jessica, later on, I'll let you give out my email address, and I'll just mail it to them. I'll mail it, actually send it to you, and then you can send it out. Okay?
Sounds good.
Under process, we're talking about research and development. Well, we do a lot of analytics. You've heard Stacie talk about it, Kristi talk about it. We're always always looking at data. So under process, we're doing our research, and we're doing our development. And by the way, when I was with Deloitte, I was taught this. R&D stands for rip off and duplicate. So what we do is We just copy.
I call it the yoink and twist.
Well, we also use the case method, which is copy and steal everything. So you want to use things that work, okay?
Yeah.
So always looking at our analytics. Last is physical evidence, is if you're going to have a nice location, it's got to look good. Your online experience has got to be phenomenal. So when I talk about physical evidence, when they go to your website, and trust me, I've seen some horrible websites at one time, people aren't going to rent. So all that leads to a good, solid marketing strategy. So again, I'll send this to you, Jess, and you can just send it out to whoever's asking for it.
Awesome. Sounds great. Yeah, and I brought this up because we're going to segue into this. This is a presentation I did at the SSA show back in Orlando. And I just want to go over some social media stats as we begin to talk about social media real quick. This is all based in the US. I mean, the global numbers are even higher, but for the sake of what we're talking about, and we're predominantly US based here with the operations. I mean, just look at those numbers and the percentages of the share of how many people are on these different platforms looking at the information that is on social media. And then I want to go into this next one. This is the social media usage average minutes per day. And for me, I know I'm way higher than these averages here because I'm on social all day because I watch all of our business social pages to make sure people are transacting the way that and interacting the way that I want them to. So let's talk about social media. And Kristi, I'll jump over to you real quick. Give me some thought around social media and the importance. And, this is just another layer of it, right? And people get very nervous. Like, I was approached after this presentation, people asking me, can I hire you to run my social media? I was like, well, I don't know what day it is most days, so I don't know if that's a really good business decision for you. I'm kidding, by the way. But talk me through like the importance of this and the global and national reach that it can have.
Sure. And I want to kind of piggyback off of what Bob said, because we have a saying, and it's like your physical real estate is just as important as your digital, right? If show up, and we know that consumers, and I know I sat through this presentation at ISS, they're searching you out online and they're looking at your reviews, and that likely does also mean that they're looking at your social pages. They want to see, hey, are these guys active? Is there any negative feedback on here, right? They want to trust you. And so being active in those channels, I think, goes a far way. I know for us, it's like, I hear from owners and operators, I don't know what to put on there, and we had done some marketing for an owner operator at OpenTech and found like this cat ad to be really successful, right? So it was like, I don't want to be funny. I don't want to be silly. Just how do I do it, right? And I think our biggest advice is just start, right? Like just start. You don't have to have silly cat ads, but there's just post something on there. Ask your customers what challenges did they have when renting, and just start a dialogue, start questions, ask your current customers to follow you on social media, ask them for, post great reviews on there. I think it's just a great way to interact with current customers and potential. So when in doubt, I know it can be daunting, right? You're like, some of you are wearing many hats, right? You're marketing and you're ops and you're sweeping out units on the weekend. So we get it. But I think it's becoming, as you showed, Jess, just really important to have visibility there, because they're searching you out there. They're looking for, and I know we see many owner operators also, customers are like, I'm locked in, right? Like they're going to social media pages and reporting kind of emergency, right? So you have to monitor them too. I think that's the other big thing. If you're going to have a dialogue on there, make sure that you're responding timely. That's pretty critical. So.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. And there's this concept of social listening, right? There's all the different, you can like something, heart something, give it an angry face, listen to those cues that your consumer is giving you and the commentary that they're putting, and definitely respond to it. Like Kristi said, Nothing pains me more than when I go to a social media page or a social, a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, and the last post was like from 2 years ago. I'm like, oh gosh, like please just take this thing down at this point because it's irrelevant, right? So
I think
please go ahead.
With social media, I think the number one takeaway for anybody today, for me, that I would like to share, it's consistency of your voice. Make sure you're keeping, the same personality on your Facebook page or your Pinterest page or whatever you have going on, the same personality that you have for your brand in store, the same personality that you have for your brand when you go out as an ambassador to the marketplace. This is the personality of your brand. So keep that consistent. Keep your posts consistent because you're going to stay in the Facebook algorithm, stay timely in everyone's news feeds. Keep your requests for people to like your page or to leave reviews for you consistent. Always be asking for feedback, and then also keep your responses consistent. So if you can keep consistency across the board with your social media platforms in so many different ways of consistency, especially responding to people when they reach out to you, I think you'll have it licked. So if you start a social media page, stay consistent. Don't take your foot off the gas. Just keep going.
And start with one, right? Like go to Facebook first and start there, and then own it, and then maybe transition to another channel. Go ahead, Kristi. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
One tip for everybody: there's a platform you can use, the free version called Hootsuite, and you can sit down for like an hour, block an hour, and you can do 2 months worth of social posts, and Hootsuite will automatically post those to your social channels.
In the cadence that you said.
So like it's a little bit like type it up and hit the button, and you're literally going to be posting social media posts while you're out driving around. So it's really cool technology. And then also at OpenTech, we have a review and reputation tool. So you're like, oh my gosh, I have to worry about responding to these people. We have a tool that really surfaces up all of your reviews and reputation across all your online channels, and it's just something, if you're interested, you can message me. We'll share it with you to kind of keep an eye on it, because you're right. You got to be consistently responding to them, and that can be it's another thing I got to do. But there are a lot of really great tools that make you look like you're active and online all the time, when in fact you've blocked an hour on a Tuesday to get it done.
Yep. Hey, Jess, could you bring up my presentation, my slides, so please?
Yeah, for sure.
Because, oh my gosh, these two ladies are just so smart, and I just want to bring up.
Let's see, and I got to go back a little bit, I think, too.
No, I think go forward. You go right there. Go back.
Go
back. Okay, look at that. So this got so much feedback. This one simple social media presentation, the slide that we did, that you can see it's nice and clean.
Very
simple. There's the action you want to take. And it doesn't have to be fancy, but there's also something about it that I think both Kristi and Stacie alluded to, if not talked about. And that's I think it was Stacie said, culture. If you know anything about my culture, two things. One, we're crazy. Two, we're crazy. So I want
3, you're crazy. Can I get a third one?
I want people to have fun, lighten up.
Yes.
Lighten up. This is a very, very unusual time in our history. And so there are a lot of challenges out there. So we try to keep things light. Now go down a few slides for me also. And I think what you're going to see too, keep going.
And Bob, I'll echo just what you're saying real quick too. Keep it light and friendly. I am not a fan of seeing political views and post on people's social pages, personal and business. It turns me off almost immediately. Listen, we all have a viewpoint, right? But there's certain ones I just don't think need to be out to the globe by any stretch.
To that point, I train every one of my managers when we're learning how to do their social pages for their stores. We tell them, do not polarize your audience. No religion, no politics, keep that for your personal page. You can do whatever you want on your personal page, but on the business page, keep it aligned to center, and don't polarize anyone, because you're going to drive people away.
Yep. Amen. You will.
On this slide, this just echoes exactly what these two wonderful ladies have spoken about, and that is there's certain things that you can do to draw attention. Food, everyone's attracted to food, or cake, cats, or pets, children, color, community, comedy, culture. Now, when I talk about comedy, I don't mean yuck it up, slapstickish kind of stuff, but keep it light. Keep it light, like you saw on that previous slide. And culture is through your posts, whether it's online in your website or online via social media, your culture should speak very loudly about you. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that. And I actually have a slide in mind. I might be able to pull it up in a minute. I stole it from Max over at Gate 5 in Georgia. He's got a really cute meme of Oprah, you know, how Oprah gives out her gifts. You get. And he did that for his free truck rental. You get a truck and you get a truck and you get a truck. Something that was fun and light and relatable to most of the people out there. They all get what that meant. And I think that that's really fun stuff. So awesome. Go ahead.
I think it's great. I just wanted to mention that keeping it fun and light is so important to the self-storage consumer at their time of need, because when they need storage, they got something going on. They've got some kind of trauma in their life. Somebody has passed away. We're moving and the house isn't ready. You know, all kinds of weird stuff is going on that's brought them to your door for storage anyway. So having that little lightheartedness can help lift their spirits and make them feel more positive about their experience with you as well. That's really important.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Kristi, I'm going to come back to you. We're going to go back to this digital shift. And during our planning call, and I love this suggestion, and this is actually a takeaway for the audience today. Give the audience some suggestions. You talked about going through the customer experience on their own through the digital footprint and the steps, right? So talk me through that and how you execute that.
Yes, and I think you can share my slides. But before you do, again, back to that customer experience. Like when in doubt, how are your customers experiencing your brand from the physical side, right? Just as you wouldn't have trash laying around the property. I love it. Ritz-Carlton, I think, calls it the lampshade effect, right? So if you walk into one of their hotel rooms and the lampshade is crooked, that consumer immediately thinks that there's something else going on in the room. So always
a ghost.
are meticulous on the physical side, because you believe it or not, that does say a lot about that trust factor, but also online, right? And I don't want these metrics to so transferring to the digital side, right? Like, how do you keep your digital real estate up to par? And again, back to Jessica's point, how do you dominate your local market? I can tell you the REITs have these in place. And so if there's an if you're competing against one of them, these metrics you really need to be measuring. And so you can see the SEO score of 90 over 100. And I'll share with you, I'm happy to provide you these on your website. The mobile speed score, your mobile, we're mobile first here. And if your site is not loading in 2 seconds, Google knocks that as well. Your domain rank score should be 30 plus, and your on-page score should be good or average. The last one, the fifth one, is the rental UI UX. And that's what that really means in layman's terms is when someone comes to your site, how quickly and what's the process to get them to actually rent, and what's that percentage? You can look at the entry people to your website and how many actually are online rentals, and that would give you your percentage. So if you go to the next slide, Jessica, we did an audit on 300 self-storage websites, y'all, like 300. And it was crazy. For us, we were looking at all these 5 metrics, and 65% of them were doing no SEO. 90% or higher had were over 2 seconds. 95% or less had a domain rank score of 30. So for me, my big thing is from your digital footprint side, audit your website, because if these scores aren't high, you are missing out. And you need to make sure that the technical pieces and that your website's being found are key. So again, that's just a really great way to see, okay, how am I ranking? Because the biggest question we get is, well, my website looks great, right? And it's like, great, it looks great, but how is it performing for you?
There you go.
And that's sort of the piece behind it. Just like you said, build it and they will come is not true. Just as with your physical real estate, it's the same with your digital. And so I have one more offer, Jessica, that you kindly let us promote.
Yeah.
If you scan this screen with your phone, or there's a web address at the bottom, we have a team of self-storage experts. As I mentioned, I've come from UStore at CubeSmart, and we have some really awesome team members that have come from Extra Space. And it's really, our goal is to provide services to smaller owner operators, right? We know what it takes to compete. We know what they're doing in their marketing strategies, especially digital at the REITs. And we want to bring that to the smaller owner operators so that they can compete on a local level. So if you scan this, our team will literally track those 5 metrics that I just showed and spit this scorecard out so you can see where you're ranking, and really they'll help kind of tell you like where's the lowest hanging fruit, where should you start, and that's just a free offer for everybody that is on today.
Hey, Kristi, do me a favor.
Yes, Bob.
Explain to the audience SEO.
Explain to the audience what SEO is. Okay, so there is a couple different, if you want to go back to those metrics real quickly.
Yeah, I can, for sure. Tell me where you need me. The first one?
Yeah, so you can see the SEO score, and this is where, Bob, marketing gets a little technical, right? It could be your content writing. It could be your link building. There's so many factors that affect your SEO score. And what that SEO score is the free search, right? So when you go to Google, and help me because I'm trying to stay high level here without going too technical. When you go to Google and you type in, let's say, self-storage Kansas. I saw somebody's from Kansas. Self-storage Overland Park, Kansas. Those listings that show up that are free, that are not the paid ones, that's really your SEO impacts where you place in that section. Did I do good, Bob?
That's right. That's why is search engine optimization important? Yeah.
And then that's why. So SEO is really, I know we have a lot of facilities that are 90 plus occupied, and yay for you guys. That is awesome. But SEO is really the only thing. I know we have some owner operators that are like, I'm just turning off marketing. I'm going to turn off marketing. I'm highly occupied. I know. And I want to address it because you should never stop SEO because
or marketing, period.
Right. But we've had some of these real conversations with folks because maybe they're turning off Sparefoot and they're turning off paid search. Mm-hmm. But please, SEO is really that flywheel effect. You need to constantly be making sure your site is being fed with fresh content, that you're adhering to all of the SEO. And I'm happy to speak more in depth to anybody that wants to learn more about it and how you can go about that. But that is the flywheel effect, and something, no matter what your occupancy is, you should always have a strong SEO strategy in place, because those are free clicks, right? If you think about it, the time and effort that takes to keep an active SEO strategy in place, that you always want to be first for those main keywords in your local market.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool.
Awesome. Thank you. Bob, I'm going to go over to you next. I should have just had you moderate this thing, shouldn't I? Like, I wish next time I'm going to have you, because I need a break.
I'm a sponge, and I'm enjoying this so much.
I know. I love the marketing ones. I've always say that they could go for like 2 or 3 hours, especially with marketing people here talking about, I mean, this is like our passion, right? We love it. But Bob, talk to me real quickly about the audience. You made a comment the other day when we were doing our planning call that the data doesn't lie, and you're absolutely correct. And you need to be tracking this data. You don't want to just shoot from the hip and see if it, put it out there. You want to go on the back end and see if what you're putting out there is actually working. So give me some quick tips of where they can find the data, what they should be looking for in that process to make sure that what they're doing is actually effective.
Okay. Well, one of the things I would do is maybe consider talking to Kristi and her group in terms of doing the measurement. But let me take real quickly, and folks like Jonathan at WebSolts and Tommy at Storage Plug. They talk about this stuff all the time. Google My Business. Look at your Google My Business page. I mean, if it's flat, you got some real challenges going on. If it's growing, that's great news. Now we went back to I want to say 2016 or something like that. So we've been measuring this ever since then. I need to know on a month-to-month basis how well our website's appearing, and I want to hear about how I want to see not our website, but also what does Google have to say about us, what's working, what's not working. That's critical. Again, the old saying is if you're on page 2 on a Google search, you're dead. And if you're at only Bing or Yahoo, anyone else, one and the same, of course, forget it. So that's why I talk about Google My Business, GMB. The other thing is just look at your Facebook analytics, because Facebook actually does provide those analytics. It tells you time of day, tells you who, tells you what. I mean, we've got, and I won't go ask you to bring up my slide, but when we're looking at the festivals, I wanted to see who's doing what and when. So we actually started tracking things like, when were people hitting our sites? And at 10:30, at 10:30 in the morning, people are looking for food. Isn't that interesting? So what you do is you post things like right before that. So they're seeing food, and the food's related to your site, so on and so forth. Early Sunday mornings, churchgoers are looking for a place to go have lunch. I mean, there's ways to do this, and so Facebook is rich in analytics, and so it's just a matter of, and myself included, we all need to stop being so lazy. Data doesn't lie. It tells us a lot about our business. Okay, so let's take action based on that data. Cut things out, throw things in. Do what works, but your information tells you a lot. The other thing is I analyzed. It all started, I guess, years ago when I was with Exxon, and we did these things. We wanted to look at fluid flows and so on and so forth, and we needed to determine time of day. We needed to figure out piping and work permits and critical safety, critical items, and so on and so forth. We need to figure out all these metrics. And the engineers at companies like Exxon are amazing. They're so very bright. They just held me along to make them smile and laugh. But look at your analytics. Whatever you're doing, if it's Facebook, Instagram, if it's just website. Do what Kristi said. Look at your data. It tells you a lot.
Sure does. All right, Stace, I'm going to pop over to you real quick. You're doing training with your managers a lot, right? And you train on this zone marketing concept. So I'm going to bring your slides back up. Sure. Talk me through this of what zone marketing even is.
Okay, so when we talk about doing grassroots marketing, you really need to get out there and visit all the businesses in your local area. So what I've taught my managers to do is we do it by dividing and conquering zone marketing. So what we do is I use Google Earth, map out the facility. We define the market area, 5 to 10 mile polygon. And I always tell my managers, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle because there are natural barriers out there. There's going to be highways that people don't want to traverse with a big old moving truck. There's going to be, in this particular example on screen, that zone C there in that market area, it's cut off by a giant river that goes through it. And I don't know a whole lot of people who are going to cross the river in their giant U-Haul truck over that little bridge to come to the storage facility when there's a facility on their side of the river. So pay attention to those barriers and save yourself that headache. Create your polygon, slice it up into 4 different zones. If you're going to market one day each week for the month, then 4 zones, or 3 zones if you only got 3 marketing days. But then each month, and this requires a little bit of planning for the year because you need to decide what's your target audience for every month that you're going to go out marketing. So in this example, in May, my managers are going to all the medical offices in their area. So the first week they go to all the medical offices in Zone A, and they do their marketing there. Then they go to the next zone the next week, Zone B. And what this does is it saves your time, saves your gas, which is getting more and more expensive, it saves your energy, and saves your sanity because you're only doing a little bit of your market each time, but you're using the same exact message every single time you go to each zone. So that also saves money. You have consistency in the messaging itself. You can use that laser targeted message to get out there. So, and back to what you were asking me about before, Jess, the 3D marketing concept. I tell my managers, take something, leave something when you go to these visits. You want to take away a business card, a brochure, a flyer, whatever it is, something from that business to show that you've been there and to get their contact information. Then you're going to leave something three-dimensional, not paper. Paper gets thrown away. Business card, it's going to get lost. It's going to slide under the table, anything. You want to give them something preferably that they'll use. And don't forget the power of food, like we mentioned earlier. And like Bob getting his social media posts in the food search time before lunch, that's perfect timing. But when you're doing these marketing visits, who doesn't love surprise snacks when you're at work during the day? Everybody loves that. So what we do is create these little goodie tags. You can see that one down there at the bottom, pop on in. We go buy snacks in bulk like popcorn or Chex Mix and things like that and come up with a catchy little slogan that matches the food, like Mentos candy, store your mementos with us. We're nuts about referral rewards, and we give that with circus peanuts, not real peanuts because of allergies, but one little thing, with your branding and a catchy message and food that they can use, that's memorable. That creates a positive impression to each one of those. So, and then the last little thing I wanted to add real quick, when you're going out marketing, doing your zone marketing, it's vital that you track what you're doing. Write it all down. I've created this marketing call report here for our stores. So I tell my stores, print this out on paper. When you get back to your office, you're going to fill out the digital version, which allows you to copy and paste the email addresses into your database for emailing and all. But when you're running around in your zone for the week, print it out. As you visit every single location, just number your business card or flyer or whatever it is you pulled away from them. And then on the corresponding number on your call report, make notes in the conversation section, that column at the far right. Tell me and tell yourself, more importantly, what did you talk about with that manager or, the person at that business? Did you invite them to be a sponsor of your yard sale? Did you invite them to bring their business cards to put it on the neighborhood board? Did you ask them if they want to be business of the month? Did you tell them about our referral rewards program? Talk about or write down what you talked about with them so that when you follow up with them, you can speak coherently about the real conversation that you had, because you can complete the digital part later, but you want to have all this juicy information for follow-up. And then wash, rinse, and repeat. Your marketing visits aren't magic. It's not like throwing out Jack's Magic Beanstalk and next day you have a giant beanstalk there. You're actually planting seeds that may not flower for months or even a year, because
Correct.
People don't need storage until they need storage. You're just putting the thought out there. It's inception, so to speak.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you guys all for coming today. We're coming to the end, unfortunately, because we've ran out of time. Like I said, I think these can go on for a long time. But Kristi, I wanted to just pop this up. Kristi and I will be back in 2 weeks, Thursday, May 19th at 2 p.m. OpenTech Alliance did this amazing 44-page white paper study. Kristi, tell us about it.
So the great thing about OpenTech is we're open, right? So what we're doing every year in our white paper is sharing how tenants are using our technology. So I think in this year, we've got over 917,000 storage transactions, and the data's cool. I think for me, the most interesting is the access control data. I know working this long in self-storage, that was sort of the linchpin of the data that I didn't know. How frequently were customers coming? How long were they staying? And so we have a whole white paper. You can download it on our website now, or you can join Jess and I. What we're going to do is kind of go, I want to say like undercover. We're going to go a little bit deeper than the report and talk to how tenants are using self-storage, how they're interacting with technology. There's some cool COVID callouts in the changes that happened, because the data's from 2021. So join us. We'll kind of peel back a layer from the report, and you can learn how tenants are using storage and how you can adapt that and change that at your operation. So.
Yeah, and I just, in the comment section, I put the link in for that webinar. Again, it's going to be back in 2 weeks, Thursday, May the 19th at 2 p.m. for Self-Storage Unlocked, where Kristi and I will be going into detail of this. You can hit that link right from the chat area and you can go register. You'll be able to find the information later today on the SBOA's website. That's www.thesboa.com. I have two quick things to share and then we're going to wrap this up. I promise. Stand by. Hang tight.
If you're a self-storage owner-operator, the SBOA 2022 Knowledge is Power Conference is for you. The SBOA has partnered with industry experts to discuss new technologies, solutions, and opportunities in the self-storage industry. This 2-day virtual event will offer panel discussions, breakout sessions, networking opportunities, and more. Don't miss out on great presentations and knowledge. Save the dates of June 1st and 2nd, and let's unpack.
Okay, everyone, as I wrap this up quickly, just wanted to share those two with you. The first one that you saw, yes, we are doing a virtual national conference for the entire nation, the Knowledge is Power Conference. We have 2 days of panels, breakout sessions, networking rooms, some fun activities and engagement and prizes. So please join us on June 1st and 2nd. We will be releasing the registration on Monday. So registration will open Monday. And then the following Monday on May 16th, we will release the full agenda so everyone can see the speakers and the topics and everything that we are talking about. And then our sister company, Storage Pros Management, we over the last 25 years have owned, built, sold, acquired, operated, pushed over to third-party management, our operations, and we were really successful in the process. We 9x'd our investors' money. So we did really well in this process. So we think that we're pretty much the experts in the space. So we have a new educational program called Storage for Rookies. If you are a newer owner, operator, and investor looking to get into this industry, that is going to happen next Thursday, May the 12th. From 12 to 5. You can go to storageforrookies.com. I'm going to pop that up real quick, storageforrookies.com, to learn more about that program and to register. And we hope to see everyone there. Thank you all again for joining us. Thank you to my speakers, Bob, Kristi, and Stacie. Always a pleasure to have you. We'll see you back in 2 weeks for another Self-Storage Unlocked. Have a great Cinco de Mayo and a good weekend. And if you're a mom out there, happy Mother's Day to you this Sunday. Look forward to seeing you guys back virtually here soon. Thanks for joining us. Take care.